over 1 year on the guaranteed 20% they are giving, right? With the help of compounding. Now in month 1, we see her starter balance. That is 15,000. The initial amount she wants to invest. Now the 20% guaranteed returns they are giving, we are going to punch it in our calculators. And then we are going to mark the 20% times the 15,000. Please, are we doing it? Yes. Now what is the returns we are getting? 3,000 Ghana cedis, yes. Now we add the 15,000 and then the 3,000 Ghana cedis to get what? 18,000 Ghana cedis, just a month. That becomes the end balance of that month. Now, in month 2, when we are doing, the 18,000 then becomes the starter balance, right? And then we calculate the 20% on the 18,000 again, giving us 3,600. When we add the 3,600 and then the 18,000, we're going to get the 21,600 as the end balance. And this is going to be the starter balance for month 3 as we are seeing here. Please, can we all see the 21,600? Thank you. We calculate the 20% on the 21,600 again, getting 4,320. And then we add to get 25,920. This is what we've been doing until we got to month 12. That is the year. Now, this gave us 133,745, which is too big. It is not realistic, is it? No. Now, we move to the projected growth. That is the scam versus what? Reality. Now, we see this chart here. We have the red and then the green. Now, the red indicates the scam curve, and then the green indicates the legitimate curve, right? We can see that the scam curve is moving really high. That shows the riskiness of this investment scheme. Whilst the legitimate curve is just steady and then moves moderately. The insight here is that real investments do not double in just a month, okay? Wealth is not amassed overnight, no. It is gradual, patient, and then time that gives wealth. We move to identifying some red flags, which is unrealistic returns, no licenses, pressure tactics. Now, with the unrealistic returns, we all know that risk moves with what? Returns. So here that they are giving a zero risk with a guaranteed 20% monthly returns is impossible. Next slide. Moving on to the regulatory evasion. Here, the RCC, or the Royal CD Capital, claims that they are SEC certified. They are licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission. But in reality, they are not, which makes them illegal. Now, one can do this or check their verification via the SEC website, which is www.sec.gov.gh. I repeat, www.sec.gov.gh. Or call the toll-free line, which is 0800 100 065. I repeat, 0800. Oh, I thought you were punching. Yeah. 0800 100 065. We move to the lack of transparency. That says that there are no audited financial reports, and then they have no explanation as to how the 20% return they are doing is being generated. They diverse it in a form that they'll tell you, don't worry, okay? Millions are joining. Next slide. The next thing is the pressure trap, where they are going to pressurize the investor to invest. They can say, promo ends today, get 5% bonus now. It is a scam. When you hear this, always say no. Please always say what? No. Thank you. Now we move to the operational inconsistency. When a fear client went to their office, she only saw 1 table and 2 chairs. How is this possible? A fan. Oh, no. This really shows that they lack infrastructure, right? Next slide. Now, I'll hand over to my colleague to continue.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving forward, I'm going to talk about the scam type. So from various analysis, we got to conclude that the scam type is the Ponzi scheme. So how does it work? It's not difficult. It simply talks about the use of funds or money from new investors to fund old investors, and therefore no actual profit is made. Now, we have evidence. The evidence is that the 10% referral bonus is the engine. This simply means that there's a 10% referral bonus that is given to the previous investors in order for them to attract new investors. And this obviously indicates that it is a Ponzi scheme. So, if he has immediate action plan, First, she's supposed to stop communication. Also, verify status. That's to check the official SEC Ghana website in order to know whether the firm is registered. And then also check registration. This is with the Registrar General's Department. And then report if confirmed unregulated. Moving forward, we are going to talk about one of the alternatives. One, treasury bills. As we all know, treasury bills, they have high liquidity, low returns, and then virtually no risk. Which the summary and recommendation. So one, the RCC scheme. So the rationale, they should avoid verified Ponzi scam with 100% no risk. This is simply because there's no situation whereby returns can come with no risk or 100% loss risk. Then investment strategy, regulated and realistic. So this one, there can be a combination of the treasury bills and then also with business reinvestment growth. Now the key principle, if it sounds too good to be true, it almost certainly is. I repeat, if it sounds too good to be true, it almost certainly is. So I hand over to my lovely co-presenter.
So, hello. In conclusion, it's simple. We simply say that since we are all new investors, I hope we are still new investors. Since we are still new investors on the market, we urge that whenever we feel an investment sounds too good to be true, we should just pause, relax, investigate, and make thorough research on the investment firm. We should make sure that the investment firm is licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and does not offer a guaranteed return with zero risk associated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. West Africa Senior High School. Thomas, which school is coming next? Which school is coming next? St. Augustine's College. Let's welcome the presenter for St. Augustine College with a round of applause. St. Augustine's College, you have 10 minutes to present your findings.
Good afternoon to you all. Wonderful judges, fellow contestants, as well as ladies and gentlemen. My name is Agent Samuel, and with you all today is I am, as well as my colleague members, who are pleased, to share with you all our wonderful knowledge about an advisory session in regards to a topic of our presentation, which is protecting Efia from investment fraud. Okay, let's meet our client. Our client here is called Efia, who's a 20-year-old lady, a part-time student, and also a mobile money merchant. Efia currently has 15,000 Ghana cedis in her bank savings account and also dreams of expanding her mobile money business in the long run. Efia, faced with the challenge of high production costs due to the sharp increase in general prices, develops the urgent need to quickly grow her funds so as to chase after her goal of expanding her business. Efia then receives an anonymous message about introducing her to the RCC, the Royal Cities Capital, an investment opportunity offering 20% return after every month with relatively no risk involved with a minimal deposit of 1,000 Ghana cedis. This is indeed too good to be true, isn't it? But Efia, knowing very well that this opportunity is a one-time opportunity, as her face currently shows, has in her mind currently that this is a one-time opportunity, thanking God for making her come across such an opportunity. This, in continuation, makes Efia suffer a dilemma where she is torn between two decisions to either act smart to take up this opportunity or to leave it, understanding very well that these operations are indeed too good to be true, meaning it probably is a scam. In continuation with the more demystified information about testifying if indeed the RCC is truly a scam, I would like to call in my colleague Lawrence to take it up from there. Thank you.
Now, to further convince her that this scheme is nothing but a pathetic Ponzi scheme, we gave her a list of red flags of this business. Now, as you can see, this business offers unrealistic returns. It promises to give her 20% monthly returns. It also guarantees no risk. Now, we all know that when they say high returns, it means we are expecting high risk. Now, this business is telling her that there's no risk, and this is highly absurd. Now, it also offers her referral bonuses. This is suspicious because a business that is giving a referral bonus this high means that it's basically relying on new entries to finance its operations. It also has pressure tactics. Now, this gives its clients or its customers a certain feeling called FOMO. Now, this fear of missing out. So basically, what this means is that it gives the customers the feeling that if they don't rush to invest their money into the business, they will miss out on a good opportunity. Now, it also relies on hype. This means that it relies on its ability to be spread across a vast amount of people. Now, its lack of transparency. Now, this business, because of its shady operations, does not give a clear business model or does not publish its financial statements as necessary or required by the law. Now, to further convince her, we asked her to check for the legitimacy of the business. Now, we gave her a list. She should first check the SEC Ghana website. She should ask the business for its SEC licensing number. She should also check or demand for the business prospectus. Now, this is just to give an overview of the business and its performance. And she also contacts the SEC directly. We also told her that another way to show that this thing is nothing but a scam is that there are referral bonuses. Now, this basically shows or uses the analogy of robbing Peter to pay Paul. So basically, what this business does is it will just look for new clients to fund the business so that it can pay the earlier ones. So, for those of you who don't believe in the words I'm speaking and want the math, this is the math. Now, even with compounding effect, which is classified or stated as the eighth world wonder by the famous Albert Einstein, this business cannot give her the 45,000 cedis it promised after 3 months. It rather could give her a return of 25,920. Now, with this impossibility, it shows that the business will not be able to fulfill its earlier promise of giving her 45,000. Even the best performing shares, the best performing bonds and mutual funds cannot even cross 15%. So this shows that the business is nothing but a scam. Now, so with this, after convincing her, we decided to recommend some investment alternatives for her. We decided to ask her to invest in a balanced mutual fund. Now, basically, this one we managed by a professional. And it's easy and accessible, meaning she can start with very little capital. And it has a high return potential as compared to the savings account. And it's also regulated by the SEC. Some disadvantages of this is that it's not guaranteed that she will receive her returns at the end of the period. And also, in the short term, the value can be fluctuating. We also advise her to invest in stocks directly from the GSE because that one is legit. So with this, she can get high return potential and she has the chance of owning portions of some of the best businesses in Ghana. And then she also has the chance of earning high potential from dividends. Now, some of the disadvantages of this is there's high risk and volatility.
Because she asks us how she can get short-term or cash to cater for her short-term expenses. That is why he suggested she invest in highly liquid assets such as treasury bills and commercial paper. Then we also asked her to invest directly in stocks. Here, she was very curious about the stock market. So in order to help her get experience, I asked her to invest in the stock market with a few amounts, which is the 1,000 Ghana cedis, so that she'll be able to have a feel of it, also earn profit in the form of dividends and capital gains. Then she asked about her business. How does she invest in a business? How does she expand it? We asked her to invest 3,000 Ghana cedis into the business. So she asked me, how do I implement this lucrative suggestion? So I said first, she should block the coach and leave that Telegram group, then report it to the SEC. Then I asked her to research about various investment options through services offered by Data Bank Securities and others. Then I told her to contact any contact a financial advisor, then complete the KYC in order to open an account, then transfer funds into the account to complete it. Then all she has to do is to monitor through financial statements and apps such as InvestWise. So there are lots of risks associated with this. This includes market volatility. This is the up and down movement of prices. This can be mitigated by diversification. This follows the principle of not putting your eggs into one basket. Then we have inflation risks. As Elion said, he heard that Efia is facing increasing prices of goods and services. So how can she mitigate this? She could invest in stocks which outpaces inflation. Then she has liquidity risks. She asks, how can I get cash to cater for my short-term expenses? As stated earlier, I asked her to invest 4,000 Ghana cedis into a money market fund. Then she asked of fraud. Since she got it mixed up with that Telegram group, she's now afraid of fraudsters. So I asked her to use SEC licensed funds or firms. Then she should also follow professional advice in order to avoid these scams. Then she's very emotional. So she asked me, how can I avoid investing emotionally? Then I said she should avoid FOMO, which is the fear of missing out. Then she should seek professional advice in order to make informed decisions. For the conclusion, I call on my colleague Hoffman.
RCC is not an investment, it's a trap. A wolf among wolves. A wolf hidden in disguise as sheep. RCC is a pure Ponzi scheme. Before we end, I'd like to leave you with a word of advice. Quick money isn't always the best. Before you invest, investigate, because all that glitters is not good. Thank you.
Thank you, St. Augustine's College, for the presentation. Next, St. Louis Senior High School. Let's welcome them with a round of applause. Yeah, you can. Yeah, please start.
Good day, everyone. I'm Otlanya Brago Boedu, representing the St. Louis Advisory Team. Now, in today's world, there are investment schemes that offer sweet profit, but something that we have to put into consideration is that these investment schemes can sweep off your money even faster than MTN data when watching TikTok. Let's meet Efia. Let's meet Efia. Efia is a 28-year-old mobile money merchant, also a student, and she has accumulated over 15,000 Ghana cedis. And she aims at using this money to build a mini-mart, also expanding her mobile money business. Now, Efia came to us, quarter-finalist of the 2025 NIQ, to help her, to guide her concerning something that has come up. We know how most of the time on social media, there are pop-ups here and there from WhatsApp. Yes, well, Efia experienced the same thing. On Telegram, an investment scheme known as the Royal CD Capital promised her a 20% monthly return. And now, we arrive at the question, is RCC a legitimate investment or a high-risk scam? At the end of my presentation, if you listen attentively, you should be able to answer this question. So, moving forward, mathematically, RCC promised her a 20% monthly return. Let's all be real. If 20% monthly return was true, even the boss's boss, the Bank of Ghana, would invest in such an investment scheme. Again, compounding annually, we realize that if Efia receives a 20% monthly return, then on an annual basis, she receives 598%, which in true sense doesn't match up to any maths that we've done. So, we also deduce that the Ghana Treasury Bill offers a 10 to 20% annual return, and the mutual fund also offers a 10 to 35% annual returns. So, in conclusion, no investment, I take it again, no legal investment in Ghana would give you a 20% monthly return. So we moved on to 9 critical red flags that Efia should notice before she gets into such an investment. The first one has to do with unrealistic returns. Now, this group told Efia that they would offer her 20% monthly guaranteed, 20% monthly returns. Even witches cannot perform such a miracle. Ponzi hallmark, that's the second thing we came up to. They told Efia that she would receive a 10% referral bonus structure. This is to say, there are many schemes that have been developed that tell you that when you bring someone on board, they will give you bonuses. I don't know if you've experienced such a thing, but I have. They tell you that bring someone on board and they will give you a 10% bonus or more. And this is one thing that should show you that it is a Ponzi scheme or it is something that is not of good value. Again, no transparency. This group only operated on Telegram. What about the other apps? You cannot tell me that a legitimate investment scheme only works on Telegram. What about WhatsApp? What about Instagram? What about all the other social media institutions that is raising up a whole lot of things? Again, pressure tactics. They told Efia that she should deposit before 6 p.m. This is some of the things that most RCCE schemes use. They will tell you that the promotion will end soon. Enter it quickly. They will tell you that if you don't enter, the machine will stop selling. They will tell you a whole lot of lies. Again, no SEC license. Efia should have noted that the institution was not certified by the Securities Exchange Commission. Again, no audited account. That is zero financial transparency. Yesterday, when we went to the Ghana Stock Exchange, something was presented. The man that presented told us something very important. He said that every financial institution that is legitimate has their financial statement out there. So once there is a financial scheme that doesn't have their financial statement out there or their auditing out there, it should show you that it is non-regulated or it should show you that it's a fraudulent scheme. Again, fake lifestyle. From what Efia said, there was a group admin known as Coach Billionaire, and he was posting lots of luxurious things, such as luxurious cars, luxurious houses, and he was telling them about people who have received a lot from this investment scheme. Now, you should note that once there's an investment scheme and they are posting a lot of luxurious things, then it is fake. Again, unprofessional service. These people had no signboard and their office was blind. When Efia went there, she only saw 2 chairs and a desk. Someone who claims to have cars and have houses should not have an office that just has 2 chairs and a desk. It just doesn't make sense. Again, zero risk claims. That is impossible in real investing. In investing, there are risks. You cannot tell me that this is an investment and there is zero risk. Immediately anyone tells you that the investment you are venturing into carries no risk, you should know automatically that it is a lie or a fraudulent scheme. Now, venturing the evidence from Efia's experience, the physical red flags. That is the office with only 2 chairs, no signboard or branding, and no explanation of investment strategy. These people couldn't explain to Efia. Let me tell you something. I don't think anyone would venture into an investment where they will tell you would cash out big, and they can't tell you what they are using the money for that will produce the yield for you to cash out big. You can't tell me that I'm giving you my 15,000 Ghana cedis and you are not telling me what you are using it for, and all of a sudden I'll just gain interest. No, it's not done anywhere. Again, the manipulation tactics. These people manipulated Efia's mind. They tried to sabotage her mind by telling her that hundreds join daily, that promo will end today, and that it is sex certified with no license number. The same way that you can't tell me that a car is licensed but doesn't have a license plate. You cannot tell me that a regulatory scheme is regulated but doesn't have a SEC license number. Again, impossible promises. These people told Efia that she would turn her 15,000 Ghana cedis to 45,000 Ghana cedis in 3 months. And let's all be real, that's absurd. Moving forward, we are going to talk about verification steps for Efia. So the first thing Efia can do is to check the SEC license, and that is to visit the SEC Ghana website and search company name and license type. Now, the SEC has become so digitalized that even in the comfort of your home, you can just take your phone go on a web browser and just search for them to get the necessary information you want. And that is the www.sec.gov.gh. Again, the second one has to do with you have to demand documents. Before you get into any investment, you need to know what they are doing, how their finances is, their structure, what they outline, their risks and their strategy. Again, you have to visit the real office. One mistake Ifya made was that when she visited the office and they told her that the reason why they have just 2 chairs and 1 desk is because they are moving to the main office. She should have asked about the main office so that she would go and verify if indeed there is a main office. Moving forward, bank verification. You can confirm with banks to know if any institution that you are getting into is licensed or not. You can research online, and lastly, you can seek professional advice. Now, I'm getting into a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme is a scheme where early investors are being paid by a Ponzi scheme is a scheme where early investors are being paid by new investors. That is, robbing Peter to pay Paul. But at the end, all of them will come and beat you. Again, a Ponzi scheme was first enacted by a man known as Charles Ponzi in the 1920s. And we are going to look into the reasons why RCC is known as a Ponzi scheme. RCC is known as a Ponzi scheme because, one, it promises high guaranteed monthly return. And the characteristics of a Ponzi scheme is promising high returns. Again, referral bonus, pressure to recruit immediately, no legitimate business model, fake testimonials and luxury displays, and lastly, no audited statements or regulations. How Ponzi schemes collapse? Firstly, they ask new investors to join. So the more investors join the scheme, it means that they are going to collapse very soon. Again, fake payout credits. They will tell you that add more people. And the more you bring more people and they are paying the old people, it should show you that the investment is going to crash very soon. Again, the scheme grows and more people are needed because as they are paying the old people, they need more new people to acquire money to pay the old people. New money slows, and lastly, it collapses. You can venture into treasury bills, mutual funds, bank fixed deposits, business expansion, and digital investment app instead of getting into a fraudulent scheme. Now, do not invest in RCC. Verify with SEC Ghana, choose regulated options, and expand your business. If the returns are too good to be true, then they are not true. I would like to conclude here. Thank you very much.
Well done, St. Louis Senior High School, for that presentation. Next, we have Corpus Christi Senior High School. Let's welcome them with a round of applause. You have 10 minutes. Please start your presentation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Look, if you entered that office and saw 2 chairs, 1 table, and overconfidence, and they were shouting, guaranteed returns, but even their chair legs weren't guaranteed. For Growth Advisory Team from Corpus Christi are here to break down FES investments for charity work with style, with facts, and a little bit of Ghanaian common sense. Ifya is a 28-year-old student and a mobile money vendor. Ifya is ambitious and disciplined, and she has saved 15,000 Ghana cedis to expand her business. But Ifya has one problem. Ifya has one problem. Ifya is emotionally influenced by quick money schemes. This is how they get people. 20% guaranteed monthly returns, referral bonuses, fast payouts every 30 days, 0 risks, and SEC certified claims, positive testimonials, and luxury lifestyle photos. No.
Anyways, moving to the next one. Move to the next slide. Anyways, Anyways, if someone was to promise you a monthly returns of 20%, would you believe it? Right. This is the exact situation that Efia faces. She is confused because the return she's getting is too good to be true. So she asks us if this is real or if she's throwing away all her... Relax. No, leave it there. Leave it there. So let's check if the RCC is realistic or not. The RCC promises a monthly returns of 20% to Efia, which will be, and also promises her to give her a returns of 45,000 Ghana cedis after a period of 3 months, with an annual returns of 800% after the calculations were done. This is not realistic because even realistic investment options like the Ghana government treasury bills offers a returns of 1% to 1.5% monthly and annual returns of 11 to 13% monthly, with the top global fund offering a returns of 1% monthly and 12 to 15% monthly. Even the number one investor in the whole wide world, Warren Buffett, averages only 20% per year. So how does the RCC pay 20% monthly? The answer is simple. They can't. It's fake. It's fake and it's a trap. The only way for them to pay 20% monthly is for them to take money from the new investors to pay the old investors, which is the basic definition of a Ponzi scheme. Now let's check the RCC against the official scam checklist. The RCC promises a guaranteed returns of 20%, which violates the SEC investment guidelines for fund managers. It also offers no SEC licenses and audited financials, which violates the SEC guidelines for fund managers under the section 5.2 and section 12. It also uses high pressure tactics, which violates section 7.1 and offers no explanation about how their income is made and offers a zero claim risk. So what should Efia do? 1, Efia should check if the company and its products are registered and approved by the SEC. She should also demand a legal document that explains its business models and risks. She should also stop and consider the fact that there is no legitimate opportunity that expires in hours. She should also look for other verified sources than just Telegram posts. Finally, she should understand the fact that investments naturally carry risks, and a guarantee of high returns with no risk is a lie. Next one. All right. So now that we've basically established that the RCC is a Ponzi scheme, we must know what a Ponzi scheme is and why the RCC fits under this description of a Ponzi scheme. The Ponzi scheme is basically an investment fraud that takes money from new investors to pay old investors. Now imagine digging a hole and then filling it with sand. So using sand from the bottom to cover the top. It looks full, right? Yeah. That is how it is until the sand finishes one day and boom, everyone's money disappears. That is the RCC, which offers high returns, too good to be true, needs a constant supply of money to sustain old payments, and uses testimonials. An example of a real Ponzi scheme was the Nana Agrada case, where she promises double returns to people. Now, although Efia wants to expand her business in a period of 1 to 2 years, this means that for her, safety comes first, liquidity second, and realistic returns third, rather than huge growth. So, we advise her to invest in the following investment options. We advised Efia to invest into treasury bills because they were backed by the government of Ghana, had low risks, and high liquidity. We also advised her to invest into fixed deposits because the funds were locked away until maturity for a period of 3 to 12 months and offered higher rates than a regular savings account. We also advised her to invest into mutual funds because they were managed by SEC licensed professionals and into her own business. This was the best recommendation for her because as of the first quarter of 2025, MTN Ghana MTN Ghana's Momo revenue experienced a growth of 53.1%. So if Afia was to invest into her own business, she'd be potentially making a return of 53.1%. However, the other investment options also provide a realistic annual return of 11 to 13%, 5 to 7%, and 11 to 15%. Yeah, okay. So here is Afia's recommended model portfolio using 15,000 Ghana cedis. We diversified her portfolio against four SEC licensed investment options, with them being the TESA Future Fund, Treasury Bills, Data Bank M Fund, First Bank First Fund, with her portfolio allocation being 40%, which is approximately 6,000 Ghana cedis, 30%, which is approximately 4,400 Ghana cedis, 20%, which is approximately 3,000 Ghana cedis, and 10% being approximately of 1,500 Ghana cedis, with each of them giving her an average annual return of 15%, 13%, 13% again, with 12%. However, at the end of 1 year, she'll be expecting a projected value of 6,900 Ghana cedis from the TESA Future Funds, 5,085 Ghana cedis from Treasury Bills, 3,390 Ghana cedis from Data Bank, and 1,680 Ghana cedis from the First Bank First Fund. So, over the year, Afia's fund would grow by a rate of 13.7 and should be getting an additional 2,055 Ghana cedis. This bar chart visualizes how her money will be growing over the year. Through proper investment plans, which was already explained in the previous slide. So with this, would you rather want to get safe growth or invest in a 20% risky scam?
In conclusion, this is a message for Afia. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Verify everything, check for SEC license, and demand audited documents. No pressure. Legitimate opportunities don't force you to rush. Walk away. Invest yourself or through regulated institutions in Ghana. If you're 15,000 Ghana cedis is your future, protect it. In conclusion, this is not just Afia's story. This is the story of every young Ghanaian investor out there using to secure a better future. And today, together, we just saved Afia from a Ponzi scheme. Thank you.
Thank you very much, contesting coach, for that wonderful performance. I am told St. Louis Senior High School wants to effect a change before we proceed with the next session. So the new person coming, please let's have you walking in. Let's welcome the new person and also give the outgoing contestant a round of applause. Thank you very much, contesting schools, for those beautiful presentations. In fact, it is very encouraging to see students at the senior high school level being able to analyze issues and preferring solutions to people who are victims of scams. Our marking scheme. We expected presenters to tell us whether the promise rate is feasible. And you could do so mathematically or using graphs. And to relate your response to average returns on the Ghanaian markets. Then also give us a clear conclusion on the sustainability or unsustainability of the returns promised by Red City's capital. Next, we expected you to give us at least 3 red flags as to why the investment seems a scam. Next, we expected you to give us at least 3 measures to verify the legitimacy of the investment scheme, which is the Red City's capital. And so if you got that correct, that will be 3 points. Some of you gave us up to 9 points when we needed 3, right? Thank you for giving us more. Next, we expected you to tell us the type of scam under discussion. What type of scam are we looking at? Ponzi or pyramid scheme? What's the expected answer? Next, investment alternatives. Instead of investing in the royal city's capital, what are the options that Efia could have invested in? Now let's look at the scores obtained by the various schools. First, starting with West Africa Senior High School. You were able to use a graph to show us that the investment return is not realistic. You show us the trends in the actual returns on the Ghanaian market, which was green, and then the red showing the unsustainable return. For your effort, you get 3 out of 3 for the feasibility of the investment. The red flags, you gave us more than 3, and so you get 3 out of 3 for that effort. The verification measures, you gave us more than the 3 that we needed, so 3 out of 3. The type of scam, you told us it is a Ponzi or pyramid scheme, which attracts people with referral bonuses. And for that, you get 2 out of 2. Investment alternatives, you provided us more than 3. We needed 3, and so that's 3 out of 3. So that gives us 14, and then the quality of presentation is 1. You got that right, and so 15 out of 15 for West Africa Senior High School. Next, let's look at the score obtained by St. Augustine's College. For the feasibility, you told us the promise rate by the royal city's capital is not realistic, but you could not reference it to the Ghanaian case specifically and to use mathematics or even a graph to show us. So you got 2 out of 3 for your effort with the feasibility. Red flags, you gave us 3 out of 3, and so 3 points. Verification, you gave us more than 3, and so you have 3 out of 3. Type of scam, you rightly told us it is a Ponzi scheme, and that is 2 out of 2. The alternatives, you gave us more than 3, and so you get 3 out of 3. And then presentation quality, you got 1. So 14 out of 15 for St. Augustine's College. St. Louis Senior High School. You were able to tell us that the return is not feasible, and you use the average T-bill rate and the average return on the Ghanaian market to tell us that the return is not feasible. 3 out of 3 for feasibility. Red flags, you gave us more than 3. You gave 9 red flags, actually. And so if there were a bonus for this session, maybe we would have given you a bonus. Unfortunately, there is no bonus. And so 3 out of 3 for St. Louis, red flags. Verification, you gave us more than 3. You scored 3 out of 3 for verification. Type of scam, you rightly told us that it is a Ponzi or pyramid scheme, which is 2 out of 2. Investment alternatives, you gave us more than 3. Your presentation was also top-notch. You got 1 for presentation. So 15 out of 15 to St. Louis Senior High School. Next, and the last, Corpus Christi School. Corpus Christi, right? Corpus. Feasibility. You use mathematics to show us, even though you had challenges from the beginning, you were able to prove that the return is not sustainable. It is not feasible relative to the market returns on the Ghanaian market and even on the global market. 3 out of 3. Red flags, you gave us more than 3, and that is 3 out of 3. Measures to verify the legitimacy of the investment, you gave us more than 3. We give you 3 out of 3. Type of scam, you told us it is a Ponzi scheme, which is correct for 2 points, 2 out of 2. Investment alternatives, you gave us more than 3, and so you get 3 out of 3. The scores at the end of round 4. We'll give instructions for round 5A. So round 5 has been divided into 2. We have 5A and 5B. 5A, We'll read statements to you relating to investment, relating to economics, relating to the capital market in general. We expect you to provide a true or false response. You have 5 seconds to respond to a major question for 2 points. If you get it wrong, -1. You have the liberty to refrain from a given question if you think you do not know. In which case, it will be passed on as a bonus to other schools. If you know the correct answer, you ring your bell. Let's hear your bell once more, Corpus Christi. Please, can we have our bells well set up for the next section? Okay, I think the bells are working now. Okay, Corpus Christi, let's hear your bell. Okay, audience, please take notes. Okay, West Africa Senior High. Next, St. Louis, let's hear your bell. St. Augustine's College, let's hear your bell. On that note, we proceed to announce the scores at the end of round 4. And at the end of round 4, St. Louis has 38 points. Let's give that to St. Louis Senior High School for that wonderful performance. Corpus Christi, 42 points. Let's give it up to them for that performance. St. Augustine's College, 47 points. West Africa Senior High School, 49 points. If a portfolio contains only short-term assets.
False.
And that is correct for 2 points to Corpus Christi Senior High School. Short-term assets can still be illiquid due to market disruptions or wide bid-ask spreads. Next, going to West Africa Senior High. Longevity risk increases when life expectancy is underestimated in a financial plan.
False.
I am sorry, that is true. -1 for West Africa Senior High School. Next question going to St. Louis Senior High School. Political instability affects only non-financial risk and not financial planning projections.
False.
False, and that is correct for 2 points to St. Louis Senior High School. Political risk affects both financial and non-financial risk. Next question going to St. Augustine's College. An investor with high standard deviation in returns automatically has low risk tolerance.
False.
False, and that is correct for 2 points. Standard deviation measures investment risk, not personal risk aversion or otherwise. Next round of questions, starting with Corpus Christi. Diversification entirely eliminates systematic risk.
False.
That is correct for 2 points. Next question to West Africa Senior High School. A portfolio can meet future obligations even if liquidity risk is high, provided expected returns are achieved.
False.
And that is correct for 2 points. St. Louis Senior High. A credit default swap transfers credit risk away from the holder to the dealer. And that is correct for 2 points to St. Louis Senior High School. Next, St. Augustine's. A contingency fund reduces the impact of unanticipated life events, even if it is not fully adequate. Oh, I'm sorry you have been bailed out. Okay, which school rang the bell? Two, okay, so what's?
True statement.
A true statement for 2 points. Two points to West Africa Senior High. No. We said for this round, from the instructions we read, a bonus attracts the same rule applies. And so, if you get it right, +2. If you get it wrong, -1. Okay, so it is true because with a contingency fund, when the unexpected happens, in case you fall sick and lose your main stream of income, it is able to at least cushion you against certain hardships. Next round of questions, starting with Corpus Christi Senior High School. If an investment guarantees consistent high returns, regardless of market conditions, it may still be legitimate if the operator is publicly known.
False.
And that is correct for 2 points. Just as we saw with the case of Royal Cities Capital. Once the rate is not feasible, it doesn't matter whether you are known or not, right? And we have had examples in the Ghanaian case in recent times. Next question going to West Africa Senior High. A disappearing operator always signals fraud, even if the platform was operational for several months before vanishing.
True.
And that is correct for 2 points. Next to St. Louis Senior High School. SEC registration ensures that an investment is risk-free and cannot collapse.
False.
And that is correct for 2 points. To St. Louis Senior High School. St. Augustine's College. If an investment uses complex financial jargons, it is likely legitimate because complexity implies sophistication.
False.
And that is correct for 2 points. Going to St. Augustine's College. The fourth round of questions. Starting with Corpus Christi. Social media hype alone is insufficient to conclude that an investment is fraudulent.
True.
And that is correct for 2 points. Next question going to West Africa Senior High. A sudden spike in returns, accompanied by constant recruitment of new investors, is more indicative of fraud than market volatility.
True.
And that is correct for 2 points. Next question to St. Louis Senior High School. Even regulated collective investment schemes can fail if poorly managed or exposed to extreme market conditions. And that is correct for 2 points. Please, let's fix the microphone for St. Louis. I think the microphone has issues. Next, St. Augustine's College. If crypto or forex platform is licensed in another country, it is automatically safe for investors in Ghana.
False.
False, and that is correct for 2 points. Next question. Going to Corpus Christi. That was the 4th round of questions, right? The 5th. We are going to the 5th. Okay, first question in this round of questions going to Corpus Christi. Pyramid schemes and Ponzi schemes are fundamentally different because one focuses on recruitment and the other on investment returns.
False.
I am sorry, that is true. -1 for Corpus Christi. Okay. So pyramid schemes focus on recruitment by offering bonuses and some percentages on any person you bring, right? Those pyramid schemes. So if you have more people under you, then you earn more. Ponzi schemes are different. Okay, next. Going to West Africa Senior High. An influencer's endorsement guarantees that an investment is safe, regardless of the promised returns.
False.
And that is correct for 2 points. Next question, going to St. Louis Senior High School. If a crypto platform provides a white paper, this proves the investment is legitimate.
False.
And that is correct for 2 points. White papers can be fabricated or made up. They do not guarantee sustainability or legitimacy of an investment. Next, St. Augustine's College. An investment can be fraudulent, even if it pays out initial returns exactly as promised for the first few cycles.
True.
And that is correct for 2 points to St. Augustine's College. The last round of questions, starting with Corpus Christi. If multiple people report losses from an investment online, it is most likely a fraudulent scheme.
True.
And I am sorry, that is false. Complaints alone do not prove. Sorry, I have to wave the bonus off. Yeah, and that is my making. I have given a clue to the answer. They didn't answer. They answered. Okay, so there is even no bonus, right? Yeah. Okay. So -1 for Corpus Christi. And the explanation is that complaints alone don't prove that a fund is fraud. Some losses may be from legitimate risk, maybe a market risk, a systematic risk, right? And so if people are complaining that they have had losses, it doesn't make a fund a fraud. even with the domestic debt exchange program, some investors suffered negative returns. Not because the investment itself was fraud, but because of a sovereign risk, which occurred because Ghana defaulted on its promises. Next question going to St. Louis Senior High School. Oh, was? Okay, thank you for the prompts. Was? An investment promising 50% monthly return is more likely to be fraudulent than one promising 10% annually, even if both claim SEC registration.
True.
And that is correct for 2 points. Next to St. Louis. Ponzi schemes can exist legally if operators disclose that returns depend on new investors. And that is correct for 2 points. A Ponzi scheme is a Ponzi scheme, whether you disclose information or not. The last question in this round going to St. Augustine's College. An operator who disappears and later resurfaces with a new platform cannot be trusted, even if old investors are repaid after the launch of the new platform.
True.
And that is correct for 2 points to St. Augustine's College. Let's give it up once more to our contesting schools for that wonderful performance. We wait on the score master to give us updates on the scores obtained by the schools after round 5A. Okay, so according to the score master, we should proceed with 5B before announcing the scores. Round 5A. Listen carefully. In this round, riddles will be read to all schools at the same time. The first school to ring the bell will be called to provide the answer. If you ring and get the answer wrong, you are out. We'll continue reading the clues to the remaining 3 schools. If you get the answer correct upon the first clue, 5 points. Second clue, 4 points. Any other clue, 3 points. If you get a response wrong for a riddle, you have no chance to make any further attempt. 1 attempt, as announced earlier. Now, listen carefully. 4 riddles going to all schools at the same time. Once more, Corpus Christi, let's hear your bell. West Africa, thank you. Say first riddle. I am promised in whispers at boardroom table. I shrink when prophets falter. And I see 3. And that is correct for 4 points. Second clue, 4 points. Second clue, 4 points to St. Louis Senior High School. So from the second clue, I shrink when profit falter. When profit rises, dividends will rise. When profit fall, dividends paid out to shareholders for 4. Next riddle. Going to all schools. I am a ghost that hands the ledger. I am a ghost that hands the ledger. Already spent and done.
Sunk cost.
And that is correct. 5 points. First clue. 5 points.
Relax.
That is a miracle. How did you get that? Okay. I am a ghost that hands the ledger, already spent and done, right? Sunk cost. Once it is spent, it is spent. Okay. Next riddle. The third riddle. I am a cunning scheme of old. I promise steady streams. I see 2. West. I saw 2 first, right? We all agree.
You are a Ponzi scheme.
A Ponzi scheme. On the score master. If you're well ready to go by, I'll say congrats in advance. Thank you, West Africa Senior High School. St. Louis Senior High, all the way from Kumasi. How has it been for you?
The will of God has been done.
The will of God be done. And indeed, the will of God in our lives will be done today. St. Augustine's College, how has it been so far?
So as I said earlier, with God, all things are possible. And He delivered too.
God, all things are possible. Let's give it up to our contesting schools once more. And at the end of the first quarter-final contest for the 2025 National Investment Quiz Competition, Corpus Christi Senior High School had 48 points. Let's give it up to them for that wonderful performance. St. Louis Senior High School had 54 points. Let's give it up to St. Louis Senior High School for that performance. West Africa Senior High School had 65 points. Let's give it up to West Africa Senior High School for the beautiful performance. St. Augustine Senior High School, all the way from Cape Coast, came top with 65 points. Let's give it up to St. Augustine's Senior High School. On this note, St. Augustine's, there is no St. Augustine 67. That's what I said. No, I said 67. West Africa 65, St. Augustine 67, right? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the prompt. And congrats to all schools. I think you have represented your schools very well. The first 2 schools will qualify for the next round. And so on this note, St. Augustine's and West Africa Senior High School, see you at the semifinals. Unfortunately, we have to say bye-bye to Corpus Christi and St. Louis College. We need to make way for the next contest. So congrats, contestants, once again. Thank you, audience, for comporting yourself and for helping us to have a very interesting contest. Thank you. My name has been Paul Apia Kunedu, and I have been your quiz master. Thank you, as I sign off.
Thank you so much, our quizmaster, and also to all our contestants. I hope that this was very impactful. And also to Corpus Christi and then St. Louis. We hope to see you next year live on with a game. This is not actually the end. We are all still winners. And a big congratulations to West Africa Senior High and also St. Augustine's. So yes, the lunch is ready.
Oh, thank you. The moral support.
So yes, please, can we have Saint Augustine's and then West African Senior High, the contestants?